So today we're on 6.6b, so make sure you have out your yellow sheets. We're going to divide a polynomial by a binomial. So a little bit different. So we got two methods. The first one we're going to look at here is long division, and you get to choose which one you want to do. So first I'm going to show you long division, and you did this with your numbers before in the past. So let's do this 52,463, and we're going to divide that by 3. So just think 3 goes into 5 here once. 3 times 1 here is 3. I subtract these. I get 2. I bring down my next number. 3 times what up here gives me 22. It'd be 7. So 3 times 7 is 21. I subtract. I get 1. I bring down my next number. I think 3 times what gives me 14? 4. So 3 times 4 there is 12. Subtract. I get 2. Bring down my next number. I would think 3 times what there gives me 26. It would be 8 without going over. Get 24. Subtract, I have 2. Bring down my next number, which is a 3. So now I can think 3 times 7 there is 21. Subtract, I get 2. So I really get 17,487. And I got a remainder there 2, so I'm going to put 2 over what I'm dividing here by, which is 3. So 17,487 and 2/3. That's how you'd write that. All right. So kind of thinking through this same thing, except now we've got a polynomial divided by a binomial. When you're writing these out, you've got 2x to the third. And then I'm going to write down the next one. It's x squared is next, but there isn't one. So I'm going to put down 0x squared, putting in that holder spot. And then I've got x is next, so there's a 6x. And then my constant is last, 152. So I'm going to divide that by x plus 4. So I'm going to think x times what gives me 2x to the third. X times 2x squared. So 2x squared. So x times 2x squared is 2x to the third. And then I also have to distribute it through. So I've got plus 8x squared. So now I'm going to subtract it off, but I'm going to distribute a negative sign through and add because it's easier. Otherwise, I forget a lot of times to add my x squared term, my next second term all the time. So first terms there go away. Here I get negative 8x squared. Can bring down my next term. So now I'm going to think x times what gives me negative 8x squared. Oh yeah, that would be negative 8x. So I'm going to change this up here to a minus 8x. Going to distribute that through. Negative 8x times x is negative 8x squared. Negative 8x times 4 there is minus 32x. Change my signs. Add them together. The x squareds go away. This gives me 38x. Bring down my next term. So now I'm going to think x times what gives me 32x. That would be 38. So 38 times x gives me 38x. 38 times 4 there gives me 152. Distribute a negative sign through, add them together, I get 0. So my answer there is 2x squared minus 8x plus 38 there. So that's what 2x to the third plus 6x plus 152 divided by x plus 4 is. That is long division. If you like long division, we're going to try another one of those together. So let's try a second one of these and see if we can do this one. All right, so again, I'm going to take what I have here, 2x to the third. Then I should have my x squared term, which I do. Then I should have my x term, which I do, minus 4x. And then I should have my constant, which I do. That goes inside the box. Then that what you're dividing by, that x plus 3 goes outside the box. So let's go through this. We gotta think x times what gives us 2x to the third. That would be 2x squared. Oops. So writing 2x squared there down. Now I can distribute the 2x squared through, and I get 2x to the third plus 6x squared. I'm going to distribute a minus sign through and add them together. The x to the third terms go away. 3x squared minus 6x squared there gives me a minus 3x squared. Bring down my next term. Now it's x times what gives us minus 3x squared. Oh, that would be a minus 3x. Alright, so let's put a minus 3x up there. Negative 3x, going to distribute that through. Negative 3x times x is a minus 3x squared. Negative 3x times positive 3 there gives me a minus 9x. Distribute make that minus minus, which becomes plus plus. Change the signs. Add them together. 3x squared terms go away. We get 5x. Bring down my last term here, which is plus 15. Alright, so x times what gives us 5x? Oh yeah, that would be times 5. 5 times x there will give me 5x. So I'm going to change this up here to a 5. So now I can distribute it through, and I get 5x, and 5 times 3, there's 15. Distribute a minus sign through, add them together, I get 0. So what's my answer? Oh yeah, 2x squared minus 3x plus 5. They don't always turn out nicely. Sometimes you'll have a remainder. If I had a remainder, I'd say plus, let's say if there's a 2 for my remainder now, I'd say plus 2 over here and then put it over x plus 3 because that's what you're dividing by. So again, this is long division. So if you're a person who says, oh, long division just doesn't work for me, I'm going to show you another one here. So we'll get started with this other one here, and then we'll go through some examples on the second video here. So let's just look at this one here, kind of setting it up here. So use synthetic division to divide. We got x to the fourth minus 3x to the third minus 11x squared plus 5x plus 17, all divided by x plus 2. So that first part that's inside the parentheses is called the dividend. The second part there that you're dividing by, that's called the divisor. So things to remember, you have to make sure it's in standard form. So look at your powers of x here. It goes x to the fourth, x to the third, x to the second, x to the first, and then just your constant term. So you have to have it in that form. And then when you're dividing over here, it has to be in this form, x minus something. So if you want to put it in that form, it'd look like this. Because your C is what you're going to actually put inside the box this time. And I'll show you that on the next page. So coming over here, what happens here is you want to look at what's in front of each one of these terms here. So in front of the x to the fourth, your coefficient there is a 1. In front of x to the third, it's negative 3. In front of x squared, it's negative 11. In front of x there is 5. And then you got your constant term. That's what they wrote for the first row here. Okay, those coefficients go there in that first row. What happens over here is instead of dividing by x plus 2, over here they're dividing by what's inside the box, which is negative 2. How are they getting that? Well, this has to be in the form of x minus c here, which is a minus a negative 2. X minus a negative 2 will give you x plus 2. The c value here is what goes inside that box over there. So it has to be in the form of x minus. So then that's negative 2 goes over there in the box. All right. So then once I've got that first row written down, so I'm going to come down here and rewrite exactly what they have. So 1, negative 3, negative 11, 5, 17, and then they've got the negative 2 in the box. Leave some space. What you're going to do is this first number here is going to drop straight down. Okay, that's what it says. Number 1 there says drop the first coefficient below the horizontal line. I did that. I brought the first number down. Then you're going to multiply the number you dropped by the number in the box. So I just dropped 1 there, so I'm going to multiply these two together. So 1 times negative 2 here is negative 2. And then it says whatever its product, place it above the horizontal low, just below the second coefficient. So that's what I did. I put it right below the second coefficient. And then you're going to add the column of numbers. So -3 plus -2 here is -5. And then we're going to repeat the process. So now I'm supposed to take this -5 and I'm supposed to multiply it by -2, what's inside the box. So -5 times -2 there is 10. I'm going to put that underneath that third number now, and I'm going to add these together. That's what step 3 there says, add them together. I get -1. Now, after I add them together, now I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to go back up to number 2 there. I'm supposed to multiply this number that I just got by the number inside the box. -1 times -2 is 2. Then the third step, add together, we get 7. Repeat the process, go back up to number 2. So now I got to take 7 times -2 is -14. Write it right underneath it, add them together, we get 3, and put that last one inside the box. So then how do we write our answers here? How we're going to write our final answer here is, notice up here at the very tippy top here, x to the 4th there, we divided that by x over here basically. When you divide x to the 4th divided by x over there, you get x to the 3rd. So this, whatever this first number down here, this coefficient here of 1 in your answer down here, or we just did our synthetic division down there, that 1 there is going to be, got to drop it down by a power there. It's not x to the 4th anymore, it's x to the 3rd. Why? Because x to the 4th divided by x over there is x to the 3rd. So we got to drop this down a power. So it goes 1x to the 3rd. And as we go across, we're going to drop down a power. So it's -5 x to the 3rd. Whoops, forgot my 5. X to the 2nd. And then keep dropping down a power as I go across. -1 x to the x, or just minus x. And then we got +7. What do I do with that's in the box? That's my remainder. So I got to put my remainder over what I originally divided there by. I originally divided there by x plus 2. And there's the final answer. X to the 3rd minus 5x squared minus x plus 7 plus 3 all over x plus 2. So let me show you, that's what they wrote on the next page as well. So kind of they did the same thing here. Notice they took 1x to the 3rd minus 5x squared minus 1x plus 7 and then plus 3 all over x plus 2. So again, so they're saying take your quotient. So their quotient is the answer you end up here with, and then adding plus your remainder, which is 3 in our case, divided by what we originally divided there by, which are our divisor there, which is x plus 2. So that's how you write out your answer. So we'll go through some more examples here on the next video here.